We want to go innovative, but we don't want to go too crazy. Our first step is to localize our entrance in the market towards our clients. I use the 80-20 formula, and sometimes it's more than 80, to be honest with you, which is not liking from my wife's side.
Welcome, Christos, to the latest episode of iGFM. How's it all going for you so far?
Thank you for having me, Lewis. It's a great pleasure to be here. I'm quite happy to see you again. It's quite some time since we see each other.
It's been a while, and obviously things in our personal lives have changed. We'll get on to the business side of things first, but arrived here as Chief Commercial Officer of Enjoy Gaming. Quite exciting and quite a big moment in your sort of career path. So firstly, just how has that move, have you settled into your new role? Obviously leaving Playson after quite a few years with the established provider and sort of trying a new venture out. So tell us how it's been going on so far.
Well, I think stepping into this new role, it's like stepping to a new big stage where the lights are bright, the stakes are high, and I'm in the middle of it with keeping up with the responsibilities, but it's mainly excitement. And I think what the excitement is coming from is the energy we have here at the Enjoy team that is feeding me on a daily basis as we're building something special over here. And I'm definitely can say that it's a great moment in my personal career to be part of this team, and I enjoy every single second of it.
The company launched fairly recently, and for those who haven't come across Enjoy Gaming yet, just give us a sense of what the company is all about in terms of its product offering.
Well, Enjoy Gaming is a software developer company, mainly developing slot games, but also live game shows. So we have a variety of slot games, mainly concentrating on hold and win mechanics. But also we have our studios based in Krakow, Poland, having currently 2 live game shows with Money Wheel. And then also we have auto roulettes with quite a nice 320 multiplier that you can hit and trigger in every round. Not in a number or 2, but it can be in 5 or multiple numbers. And a few pre-recorded games.
You talked about the energy at the moment with the company, and obviously there's a big belief that you guys can go further in the industry. But just thinking about joining a rising star in the industry, it must be a few mixed emotions in terms of being excited about a new venture, but also a bit of caution in terms of being competitive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the industry is crowded already, and it's a great responsibility to start starting from the scratch. It's not the first time I'm doing it, but for me, that process, that part of it, it's quite exciting. And I always see things in a different way. For example, I say the coin has 2 sides. Even the worst case scenario, I always see the positive side of the coin. And also it helps me a technique I used to apply when I was a basketball player. Believe it or not, I was a US college basketball player. Maybe not with my current looks right now, but at some point I was. And what I used to do, and it helped me quite a lot, and I'm doing in the business world today, is that a night before the game, I would play the game in my mind. And I mean, it wouldn't end up the way I would see it in my mind, but it would help me to evaluate some possible outcomes or mistakes I could avoid. And in the end, in a personal level, it gave me very good positive statistics. And I introduced this also technique to the business world with entering new markets or expanding to regions. And of course, I take it to practice with Enjoy as well. And I do see a very high potential with this company and the games they have. And the reason to that is, it's, as we say, it's all about the games. We do have a really good product list. This really good product, you need to be really bad at commercial strategy to fail.
Okay, you say it's all about the games are really good, but tell us a bit more. You can't just say that it's good quality games. Well, what sort of makes the Enjoy offering a bit sort of unique and appealing to? Already I've seen you've obviously secured quite a few commercial deals in the space, so there must be something good about them. But what makes it Enjoy?
Well, first of all, Enjoy is that inner hunger I see in the teams. So it comes a bit mentally first. And then the outcome this motivation brings out to the end user is remarkable. To go more to a commercial strategy we're having this year. First of all, with less than a year being on the steering wheel, we expanded our presence in the Ukrainian market, which was our initial market to launch our products. Then we have secured brand certificates, so we should go live in the Italian market by mid of Q4. And also last August, we released in social casino, and I can tell you that we set a quarterly target in regards to this market. From the time we go live. And within less than a month, around 3 weeks, we surpassed the quarterly target. So that means like what we're doing in order to have that demand and generate that much traffic, it means that we're doing something good. And we're really happy about it. We were even shocked with this result, to be honest with you. We're not expecting that. But when it comes to game development for slots, if you want to go in more detail, we use a hold and win mechanic because it's something the players know. So when you go into a market, you want to portray something that players know, and once you build this trust with them, then you can put on top of it some extra mechanics, some different features on it. While on the live game shows, we try to portray quality. So even if the small detail that you won't notice as a player is not according to the original plan or scheme we designed, we might delay a release for like a few weeks in regards to that. So we take the entertainment factor very seriously towards the player.
Well, it takes some providers years to get into Italy, given it's pretty competitive and on. But for you guys to already sort of make that cut through, sort of speaks volumes in terms of, that the content works, and it's also attracting that operator plus the player network. And hold and win, absolutely massive in this industry. I'm a massive fan of it. I really sort of like the little nuances of each game experience. It only has to be a little ton of tweak that goes on, and it's sort of captures that imagination again. I'm quite interested in the live casino side of it, because that is a very competitive space in our industry. And we've seen that companies that have entered that space really struggle at times. But is that sort of giving you the confidence to enter the space that it really is on the premium side of the graphics, being a bit more conservative in your approach and making sure that you're only going to market with that true quality product that you guys are happy with? Is that sort of the key difference? So
with live game shows, you can't be cheap. So you have to be very strong on quality. So as I said earlier, we're very detail oriented when it comes to live game studios. Not just what the end users see, but if you come as a physical person to our studios, you will see how well infrastructure we have in our studios. Now, when it comes to live game shows, as I said, it's a show time, right? It's entertainment. So we concentrate in regards to game mechanics of these live game shows on two factors, which I have baptized. So they're not out there. It's my term specifically. So we're talking about the adrenaline level the player has, is the motive for him to continue playing on the rounds, and the post-entertainment factor that we see from statistics that a player, once he finishes a session, he comes back and playing. And of course, you gain and you increase the unique users, which is also a positive outcome out of it. Now, as we are quite specialized in hold and win mechanics, we didn't just born yesterday. Before we were Enjoy, we were developing games that are live and top performing for some companies I cannot disclose in worldwide markets. So we know what's working. And what we want to do is mix these traditional type of slot games with live game shows. So we want to somehow reinvent live game shows, not reinvent, it's a wrong word, reintroduce live game shows with our perspective. And so far it's working. We see great results. And what I'm anticipating is to penetrate and enter new markets, introduce these to new players crowd.
And quite interesting, you talked about the social casino side of things. is that really, I'm assuming that's giving you a lot of insight into player trends and just testing it out in social casino before rolling out further into real money. How important is that these days to branch out and to develop in social casino?
Well, social casino is a niche market that we recently launched. We launched in August, and was quite a positive outcome, as I said. The players there, it's a lot of traffic in these social casinos. So I think if you have a good product or not, I think it's a very good test over there. Very good test over there. We actually, because in these social casinos, you can't just launch all your portfolio. It's like the big aggregators. We know in Europe that they release games in batches, and only with a few games in the first batch, I think we dominate. We didn't just made noise. We dominated, and that was shocking, excellent news for us. And I think when you go live in these markets, that there's so much traffic, so much players, which is the best judge for you to see if your product will work or not. If we see these results, we're more than happy about it.
And the fact that you've used hold and win, particularly for your slots portfolio, obviously that's a great entry point. But the things I was reading, some of the press activity, it's not just the acquisition, it's really about the retention and keep players coming back for more. Is that one of the reasons why you did hold and win, so you could sort of develop that portfolio, introduce new experiences along the way, and sort of just develop that experience a bit further, but knowing that there's an audience and appetite out there for these types of games?
So we wanted to introduce ourselves with an experience that is known to the player. So they go and play our games, they trust our games, and once we have them as a players crowd, then we can go bold. Like then we can put some further mechanics on top of it, further features on top of it. And of course, when we brainstorm, always there are innovative ideas on the table. But we don't want to go too innovative. And I'll tell you why, Lewis, because I think too innovative is not so good. And it might sound crazy when I'm saying this, because everyone wants to do innovation. But I'll tell you something. Steve Jobs did this Newton product back in the days, many years ago, and it was a failed product. And it was pretty much like a first version of iPhone. Of course, iPhone has much many features today versus Newton. But why it failed? Because it was too innovative for the market. The market wasn't ready for it. Consumers were not ready for it. It was too much ahead of its time. So we want to go innovative, but we don't want to go too crazy. But us as fresh blood in the industry, we want to go with something that players know. And then once we get the traffic we want to, we get the market share we want to, then we will apply some extra feature on top of it and some extra mechanic. I think this is the right and the safest way to go with it.
I appreciate the honesty. And I think sometimes with iGaming, there's a real sort of craving at times that everyone has to be innovative and it has to be groundbreaking. But quite simply, at times, it's just a case of building up what's already popular with players, but taking that sort of next step, but not too crazy, because ultimately, at the end of the day, slots are their sort of positioning and mechanics for a reason, because that's what people are entertained by. So, but it's always intriguing to see new providers on the scene and just how they're doing things a bit differently. And certainly from a player perspective, you can definitely tell when there's a little sort of the little nuances that look a bit different to what other providers are doing, and certainly looking forward to sort of seeing that. But in the last few months, there's obviously been a bit of traction with commercial activity, obviously that you're sort of overseeing. Tell us a bit about the conversations that you're having in sort of the aggregators and the operators. I mean, is there a real sense of, are they sharing that energy in terms of what you guys are providing for the market, and it's sort of sense of, oh, okay, this is really good, different content, and it's going to be appealing to my players?
Well, I think within less than a year, I think we did hit something remarkable. I mean, I think we sealed deals with almost 80% of the big aggregators of the industry. And sealed deal means also integrations are on final stage or finished already, which is quite important, because when you're fresh blood in the industry, they give you a long-term pipeline if they want to work with you. But when we demo our product, they understand the quality or the revenues coming from this game. Plus, when we differ in the games, you said you want to be innovative. I try to be innovative on the commercial side of things, which is also helping of us going in fast forward with new aggregators or going faster in new markets that are not too complex on the compliance side of it, obviously. And that is what I always say is that product people sell products, commercial people create relationships. So always in the past, in my career, even now, I want to tell clients, don't just generate revenues with clients, generate relationships, because we want to set a culture tone for Enjoy. And we want, and this is something you cannot fake it. And this is why the commercial team must have the skill set, the soft skills in order to do this. And you have to hear out the operator, listen to what problems they have and what improvements you can offer to them. And once you do these, then the games will get their place because they are the main gatekeepers, as we call them. And if the games work, it's because of the product people. And Lewis, we do have a good product because all these aggregators, they simultaneously agreed to sign an agreement, start integration, so they don't waste time. And that means a lot to us.
That's massive. The sort of aggregation deals can take a long time to develop. So that's a massive sign that the games are working. One of the initial statements from a few months back was about the looking to enter a high potential regulated market. I really agree as a Greek national and sort of from a UK resident and just seeing the Greek high gaming market grow. Give us a sense of how you see it from like a local perspective. How is the market developing, and is there more content now than ever before for players?
I think the Greek market, once they introduced this new legalization of these regulated markets, and once they changed the max bet from €2 to €20, that was a big change. And it's congrats to the Greek Gaming Commission of doing that, because it really helped minimize non-regulated traffic for the local casinos. And I think it's a market size of around, for slots, for sure, around 800 million annually. So it's growing, and it's quite a big market in Europe, I would say. And there is a differentiation of players. And I think in regards our product, it's a perfect fit for our products, for slots and for live games. And I'm really anticipating to enter this market for sure. And I will tell you something, the Greek clients also anticipating for Enjoy to enter this market, because if I have a good relationship with the European regulatory markets, with the Greek, I have even better and stronger relationships. So always we're saying, Christos, when are you guys getting a license for Greece? And I tell them, guys, I cannot just get the license in a day. There's some processes, some procedures, you have to wait for it.
Is it tough to get a license?
It's not tough. It's just they have some special requirements in regards to attaining a European license. And right now we have Isle of Man, which is not Europe anymore. So we are in the process of getting an MGA license. And once we have these, then we can proceed for the Greek license. It's something that hopefully in the future we'll avoid, because it delays a lot of clients to enter this market. But I believe in 2026 we will enter the Greek market for sure.
Yeah, there's been a lot, not just Enjoy, but a few other providers looking to Greece. So there's obviously potential there as a market. I'm looking at other regions in Europe where it's a bit slower growth, limited opportunities. But Italy's an interesting one, and very competitive, but there's a few other providers looking to that region, but really strong land-based heritage in that market, similar to the UK. But are there still growth opportunities in Italy with online, or is it even tougher to compete?
You can't avoid not going to Italy being the second biggest market in Europe for the iGaming world. And Italy does have room to grow. And they do seek more providers for going live, especially for live game shows. but even for slots. And we do have the characteristics as slot games that are preferable from the Italian market. I've sealed deals, even though I don't speak Italian, in the past with some of the market leaders for different companies. So the networking is there, and I think when they realize about our product and by sending in the demo we did with them, they really see potential. So when is the competitive space is not just in a market or two, it's everywhere. And when you display your product, even though we can be the best friends in the world, and you might love me, Luis, if the product is not good enough to have potential and generate revenues, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to go for it. And they're not going to go that easily or so fast with you in regards to that. The most cooperations we sealed this year, starting after ICE, definitely, I mean, we are on like a fast lane for some reason. And I think it's not my looks, because I don't look that beautiful, Luis, but I think it's because of our product.
Bit of both, bit of balance.
Okay, now I like you even better, even more.
Going to the completely opposite side of the globe, Latin America, obviously a lot of talk around certain regions like Brazil, even Colombia and Mexico and other places. Is that part of the vision as well, to take Enjoy?
Yeah.
To which countries do you go to first, or is it a mix?
Well, Latin America is a fight you want to be in. And first market for us definitely would be Brazil. It's part of our focus markets to go. And of course, you can avoid Brazil being the 7th largest market in the world, right? But for us, first market will be Brazil for sure. It's a market I know. I have good relations with the market leaders there. And you have to understand, some of these market leaders in different markets, not just Brazil, are casinos operating in other parts of Europe as well. So they have tested our product. They know our product is good. They know it's going to work. But after Brazil, most likely Colombia, Peru, Argentina, maybe even Mexico, I don't know, because they're increasing quite a lot. Taxes, I heard that they're thinking about, but for us, taxes is not a problem, obviously. But Latin America, it's something that will grow for us. It's something that will get quick feedback, like in social market. And it's amazing market for the live game shows. And definitely Brazil will be, as the market leader of all Latin American markets, to enter and then expand slowly in other regions.
Does it help the fact that Brazil has only become regulated, and the fact you are as well a rising star, that you can make that impact, that cut through, where maybe in Europe it's a bit tougher in certain aspects because players themselves are sort of embracing new experiences and trying out different providers, different content?
I think there is room. If you have a product that can fit the market, there is room to grow and enter. And if you have the opportunities with those gatekeepers, the casinos, the aggregators that can assist you and push you in order to be displayed with great visibility and give it a try, then there is a possibility. I think there is always room for good product. And I think together with that inner hunger we have, inner hunger and good quality product can beat everything, beat size, comfort, everything. So I think even if we enter Brazil, not next year, but in 2027, we're still going to see the result we're expecting out of the first month of operation there.
So it was obviously targeting LATAM, Europe. Do you have to localize the content? So how much of a sort of degree of work is needed for that? Or because of hold and win being so universally popular, is it quite a case of just tweaking elements of the gameplay?
I think you do and you don't. And I don't want to confuse you. In regards slots and hold and win mechanics with slots, I don't think we do have to localize. And I'm against this strategy that a lot of companies follow and localize their content in regards to some football team or the market, because I think players want to play these traditional type of games or the specific theme of games with the well-known mechanics. But when it comes to live game shows and live games and local dealers, I think this is something we potentially will see, but not always is required. And I've noticed, and I've spoke with with friendly competition sometimes, that they got a local dealer in the market, and actually the game performed worse than it was performing with an English speaker. And you have to be careful at sometimes. And also the language, how these local dealers speaking fluently or not, the proficiency of this language is very important. So definitely we might do some A/B testing. Definitely, I think some markets is required for sure to have local live dealers. It's something that I see in a different way as a first step of localization, because we are B2B, right? We sell to casinos, and we sell to operators, aggregators, etc., platforms. So for me, the first step of localization is to localize our brand towards this market with different initiatives and incentives I've done in the past for other companies. And I will tell you something, when I did this for the Greek market in the previous company, it was so successful because what we do, we invite everyone in these events we're doing in order to celebrate our entrance in the market, and from juniors to senior level, or even to C-level and owner state. And after a while, when I visited the office of these guys thought the company I used to work was Greek. I was like, no, it's not Greek, but this is the perfect localization strategy. So our first step is to localize our entrance in the market towards our clients. And then, of course, we'll do about the games. But definitely for the games, we need to do this A/B testing, and definitely we have to find very professional local live dealers that they speak the language perfectly and they're fluent in this language. Because I've seen wrong outcomes, like having the opposite effect of what you expect when you try to use a local live dealer.
Quite interesting, because there's always apparent needs that everything has to be localized. But if you go too far on the other side of the spectrum, it could actually sort of impact your business in the wrong way. But certainly there's an extent that elements have to be localized. But quite an interesting point, because you can see a lot of that in South America at the moment, leaning towards making sure that feel quite sometimes maybe a bit too generic and making it localized, whereas actually it comes down to the product. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, what's going to work, making sure that players actually appreciate that.
The story I heard was that in a specific market, that they wanted this local dealer that he wasn't entertaining the players. He was looking at his clock when his shift done to leave. So he wasn't motivating the players. He was a bit boring as a presenter. While the English speaker was a bit more entertaining the players, even if they didn't understand that much of what he was saying. It was it was much better outcome in the end of the day. And I mean, the players that do play live game shows, they do know the rules of the game. They're not that far apart, or they're not so difficult. Now, on the interaction level, yes, in some markets it's required, but you have to be very careful how you're going to apply this localization strategy. Have even worse effects than you had before, because when you go localize the market, you try to improve your results, to have this local live dealer rather than the English speaker, so that it has the interactivity with what the game presenter is saying, the storyline, etc. So I think you have to be very careful. Yes, there are some markets that localization is mandatory, but again, you have to be very careful about it so you don't kill the game.
Obviously, a very exciting time with what's ahead for Enjoy, but also in your personal life. Congratulations again on the birth of your new daughter, only a matter of a few weeks old. How do you find the energy to not just her, but also your 4 or 5-year-old son that is part of the family?
It's that, I think it's the inner energy, or my wife chasing me at home. It's that vision I think people have, which at Enjoy team, I'm not the only one having it, from different departments of the team. Have this vision that when we brainstorm and we talk about next strategies, next markets to enter, we feed from each other energy. And I believe the self-motivation factor that not one person has at this company is making us doing this fast-forward growth, rapid growth within less than a year, as I said earlier. So it's the self-motivation that keeps you on going, and the perfectionist formula. I use the 80-20 formula ratio. So, and sometimes it's more than 80. to be honest with you, which is not liking from my wife's side. But I don't know if you're familiar with it or you want me to explain it. So it's 85% the goals. You take the yearly goals, you break them into monthly ones, and then you have the weekly ones that you must complete. And whatever is outside of these goals that you need to spend 85% of it is noise. And noise is everything. Like meetings, sometimes to be with the family, sometimes even that, which is not good because we always saying work-life balance. But I will tell you something. If you want to become a must supplier and you want to move forward, you need to make big steps. At some point of your life in this career, you won't have that work-life balance. So it's good for me personally to apply this ratio. If it's healthy, I don't know. I don't think it's a healthy industry at all.
We'll let your wife comment on LinkedIn when it eventually goes live.
No, but she does understand, and this is good when you choose a partner that She doesn't work, so this helps a lot. But she's doing an amazing work, 24 hours per day with 2 kids, right? Definitely, it's not easy for her because I do travel a lot. Back in the day when we didn't have kids, I used to take her with me now she's a bit more jealous. But this is part of evolution, and it's difficult sometimes. It's not easy, and it's the same thing with Enjoy. Our evolution is not easy. It's not every single integration is not going to happen fast. There are going to be some things different on the API side. On the slot development, we might find some bugs we might fix or bet adjustments in a regulated market that, like 20 euro bet, for example, for Greece that you need to adjust. So everything has its difficulty that you need to surpass it, I believe, in order to succeed.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, Christos, on the podcast. One final question. I'm dying to know if there's a current NBA player that you would compare yourself to back in the day of when you were in your heights of playing basketball, who would that be?
Back in the day, I loved Peja Stojakovic of Sacramento Kings, a three-pointer, Serbian, played in Greece as well, in PAOK, which the team I support, obviously. As you see in the end, I was in the business world. I'm not playing basketball anymore, so...
Well, basketball's loss is our gaming's gain.
Yeah, basketball years are over. I mean, you wouldn't see me in the role and say, "Oh, this was a basketball player for sure." So it's not something I want to brag about. But it was lovely times back then. A pleasure time, and I got a lot of good memories that other players did not, for example. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, thanks for joining the iGaming podcast. Appreciate it, Christos, and best of luck for your future of Enjoy. I'm sure it's going to go fantastic.
Thank you for having me, Lewis. Thank you for your nice words and nice wishes, and I hope we see each other soon.